Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know, we have a couple of judges back in Fayette County, and one of them says repeatedly in the context of abuse and neglect cases that the government, especially DHHR, has a duty to protect children. And why is that? Because children cannot speak for themselves. And we right now are representatives of the government, and we have a duty to speak for those who cannot speak for themselves. We are talking about unborn children, living unborn children who cannot speak for themselves. We are talking about living unborn children who have fingers, who have arms, who have legs, who has a head that can be grasped with instruments. That's who we are speaking about. In Judiciary Committee, we had a guest attorney that spoke to us in the context of a legal expert, and this attorney was from the American Civil Liberties Union and was speaking extensively about the due process rights of adults, due process rights of a pregnant woman. And the question was asked, are there any due process rights for a living unborn child? And the answer given was, I can't think of any. And I think, Mr. Speaker, that is the dichotomy that we are facing here today. Are we speaking about persons or are we not? For in the West Virginia Constitution, Article 3, Section 10, it says that no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law and the judgment of his peers. And if we are speaking of persons here, then those persons who cannot speak for themselves have that right to life and liberty. And we cannot just turn our back on those persons and say that they can legally, without repercussion, legally and physically be torn apart limb by limb. Our laws, statutes outside of our Constitution state that an unborn child, obviously still within the mother, if the mother is killed, murdered, there are to be 2 counts of murder there, one for the mother, one for the unborn child. The same applies for voluntary manslaughter. The same applies for attempting to kill by means of poison. So, Mr. Speaker, I believe that we do have a duty to speak for those who cannot speak for themselves. And I believe that is exactly what we are doing. We are a humane society. We are a civil society. We must prevent, as an act of government, barbaric procedures on unborn children who cannot speak for themselves. And certainly, Mr. Speaker, I urge a yes vote on this bill. Thank you.